Hi, in this video I'm going to give you a demonstration of how Sentinote works to post to your WordPress blog from Evernote. If you're interested to see what else you can do with it, be sure that you look at the documentation. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a new note inside the notebook that I've assigned to work with my website. In my case, this is my actual Sentinote notebook. So I'm going to create a new note in Sentinote. So I'm using the Mac client here, so I'm going to click on New Note in Sentinote. So as you can see, it's just a plain Evernote note, and I'm going to give this note a name. And I'm going to call this note From Evernote to WordPress with Sentinote. And to save some time, I'm just going to use some text that I've prepared earlier, and I'll paste it inside this note. So as you can see here, this is just plain text. I've got some text here to act as a placeholder for where we'll put the finished video that I'm recording right now. And everything else is pretty much plain text. I'll explain this little bit I've got here at the top in a moment. But what I'm going to show you is that you can format your post for WordPress just using Evernote's basic formatting features. So I'm going to select this bit that says using only Evernote tools. I'm going to make it bold, and I might make the font size a little bit bigger. So I might make it a little bit more of a heading. Now I've showed you bold, so I'm just going to use a quick shortcut here, Command B or Control B on the PC. I'm going to give you italic, so again Command or Control I, or I'm going to give you underline, Command or Control U. I've showed you how I can adjust the font size before. You can even make color adjustments, although I usually don't. I usually leave that up to the theme, but if you really want to, you can make the color adjustments using Evernote's tools. And for obvious reasons, you can see why I don't typically do this. Evernote also makes it really easy to create bullet lists or numbered lists. So for example, I'll take these few headings here and I'll just simply go to my toolbar at the top and go bullet list, or if I change my mind, I can change it to a numbered list. I can also add separator lines using the Evernote tools, so I'll just click on this line here. And you can create tables as well, but I'm not going to look at creating tables in this video. The other option you have for formatting your notes is to use Markdown. So Markdown is a feature that's new in Sentinote, and I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of how it works. So I'm just, again, going to copy some text and paste it into this note. So I've just pasted the text into this note. The first thing I want to do is just create a little bit of cleanup. So I'm just going to remove this link over here by right clicking on it, going to link and say remove link, because I just want plain text. And now I'm going to just quickly use some of Markdown's features. So Markdown is simply a way for you to write in plain text that will format your note, and it will convert the plain text into HTML by the time it gets to your blog. The best way to explain to you what Markdown is to actually use Markdown. So I'm just going to, here in this section that says using Markdown, I'm just going to put a couple of symbols in front of the word using Markdown. That will be turned into a heading, and I'll explain that a little bit further down. And the other thing to note about Markdown is that it gives you some features that's not really typically found inside the Evernote tools up here. Some of the tools are available in a web client if you know what shortcuts to use, but in general terms, these are HTML features that are not necessarily supported by Evernote. So to show you how Markdown works, I've written down a few examples here. You can see it in the final blog post as well. But if I want to create bold text, for example, I just put an asterisk or two asterisks on either side of the text I want to make bold. If I want to make text italic, I put a single asterisk on either side of the text I want to make italic. To create headings in Markdown is pretty easy as well. I've actually done this already, but you simply put hash symbols at the start of a line. So here's a few examples. So if I use only one hash, that will be converted into an HTML heading 1. If I use 2 hashes, that will be converted into a level 2 heading. If I use 3 hashes, that will be converted into level 3 heading. And I can go as far as creating 6 hashes. But just for the sake of this example, I'll just put that back to 3. To create lists are very easy as well. So I'm going to create a numbered list simply by putting the numbers I want in front of each item with a dot. So 1 dot space and then my item, 2 dot space and my item, and I can just continue this list. To create a bullet list, I simply put an asterisk in front of each of the items in that list. And just to make sure that Markdown does what it's meant to be doing, I also tend to put 2 spaces at the end of each line. Probably the hardest thing to do with Markdown is to create HTML links. So I've got an example here, and I'll just make it a little bit more clear. And to create an HTML link, you put the text that you want to display inside square brackets and the link that you want to link to inside parentheses. And it's important to note here that when you do this using Markdown, that you make sure that the link is not automatically converted to a link inside the Evernote client. If you want to, you can also use plain HTML inside your note, and Markdown will automatically convert that for you in your notes. So in this example, I've actually created a link manually here using HTML, but you can use other HTML as well. And finally, if you want image support or any other file support, you don't have to worry about whether or not you're using just the plain Evernote markup or whether or not you're using Markdown. You simply drag and drop your file inside your note, and Sentinote will convert that for you. Sentinote also allows you to specify a feature image using featured and /featured inside square brackets. And here I've got it with spaces here, but that's just because I don't want it to be converted. In the example I'm going to show you, I will do it properly, simply by clicking it and dropping it inside my note. And I want this to be my featured image or my post thumbnail. So I'm going to put the word featured on either side of it in that special square bracket syntax. So I'm going to type in opening square bracket, just create another line there, featured, closing square bracket, and then at the end of my image I will have an opening square bracket / featured, closing square bracket, and that's my note done. So to show you how this is going to work, I'm going to synchronize this with Evernote. So I'm just going to click on the sync button here. So now that your note is synced to Evernote, it still won't appear on your blog until you actually use the tags to specify that this post is published. So I'm going to apply a tag to this note, and the tag will be published. And if I wanted to add any other tags to this note, I can do this now as well. And WordPress will simply use them as tags for your post. So I might say Sentinote, WordPress, and Evernote. I'll just sync this with Evernote again. And now, because I'm using the publish tag, Sentinote will know to take this note and turn it into a post on WordPress. So this will automatically happen according to the schedule that you specified when you set up Sentinote. So I'm just quickly going to go to my Sentinote site, and I'm just going to jump 5 minutes into the future, where Sentinote has automatically taken this note and converted it into a blog post. So here I am on the Sentinote website. I'm going to click on blog, and here is my post. It automatically appeared inside my blog with the title of my note as specified, and with any of the formatting that I specified inside my note. So I'm just going to click here to open Note completely. As you can see, all of the formatting has been applied. The text that I marked up with Evernote, my list that I created with Evernote. You will see the headings here. You'll see the lists here. This is a numbered list. This is a bullet list. Here's the link that I've created. Here's the other link that I've created using HTML. And down the bottom here you can see that it's been tagged with Evernote, Sentinote, and WordPress. And that is how easy it is to post to your WordPress blog using Evernote. I hope that this video gives you a bit of an indication of what Sentinote does, and hopefully give you ideas of how you can use Sentinote to improve your blogging workflows.